We are live.
We are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of OKKO Anime Club, which is apparently episode 39.
Apparently.
Today, apparently, I can't confirm it because there are episodes that have gone astray. But today we are talking about Aoharu x Kikanju, or what is it? Machine gun.
Aoharu x machine gun.
Yeah. Which is, I swear Aoharu means like blue spring.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I don't know.
Machine guns in the blue spring.
Yeah, there you go. So today,
I thought it was Haru from Free painted himself blue and become anti-Semitic and started kicking people of the Jewish faith and then gave it up. So he was Aoharu x Kikanju.
Okay, right. So today I am joined, of course, by the lovely Cam.
Hello.
He's
You saw me
drinking
yesterday.
sherbet. He's drinking sherbet drinks. And I'm also joined by the lovely guest, the only person we could have on for this stream, Thalia.
Hi.
Do you want to introduce?
Ebby.
Oh.
Ebby,
Oh.
no.
It's starting.
Okay, I assume we'll keep going while Ebby like sorts of life out. I assume she was saying, do you want to introduce yourself? So go ahead and do that.
So I'm Thalia, or Thalia Lizette, and I have a YouTube channel about anime and manga and games and K-pop and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I do a lot of stuff on there too.
Fucking internet, I hate it.
Oh my god.
I hate my internet with a fucking fiery passion. Right. Where did I miss? Where did I miss?
So Thalia was introducing herself. That's
Yeah.
what was going on.
Well, I'm done with that, so that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
I was in the middle of saying you published a video earlier today, didn't you?
Oh, I did, yeah. I posted a video about the new seasonal anime coming up, and yesterday I posted a video about why you should watch Gintama, so that's also a thing.
I need to watch that, so I've got a reason to watch Gintama. Not that I really need one. Okay, so
Right. We should be here now. We should be good.
I think we're all good. We're in control.
Let's
Okay.
hope.
Aoharu x Kikanju. Since I'm hosting, I get to pick on someone, and I know what Thalia thinks about it, so I'm going to pick on you, Cam. What did you think?
Oh, is this revenge for last time where I had to pick on you because
Yeah,
you
maybe.
were the person in the script?
Maybe.
That's really not fair. So I had all my thoughts organised, and I did like a tweet earlier, being like, I've got lots of interesting things to say about this show, and I've forgotten all of them.
Oh,
No, it's just I watched the last episode, and everything kind of got a bit jumbled up. So I enjoyed this show. Like, there wasn't really a point in the entire thing where I was like bored or like that I wasn't enjoying myself. It was quite an easy watch, so I didn't have to like cram it all in today. Tried to though. I was like, I'm going to watch the last 4 episodes of Aoharu today, and then slept for 2.5 hours and woke up at like 7 and was like, oh, quick. What are my general thoughts? Yeah, overall, very, very good, very, very enjoyable. I probably no surprises that I really like the main character. She was great, and
yeah.
I just have a few niggling issues when it comes to like the plot line and the way things play out,
Yeah.
which we'll probably get into as we talk more about like what actually happens in the show.
I imagine it's going to be very sorry, this stream is jank. It's going to be very similar to what I think about the ending and stuff, which is
It's
fine.
not just. It's not just the ending. It's kind of like the way that things play out. I guess my overall feelings on this are very similar to how we all pretty much felt about Terraformars, in that without a second season, this show doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of things that are brought up and lots of conflicts that are kind of created that don't get resolved. The main one being the fact that Tachibana's a girl. Like, they spend the whole... Like, my biggest issues with this show come from the fact that Tachibana being a girl is like this accidental secret.
Yeah.
And kind of creates a lot of the conflict within it, but it's never properly addressed, which is a bit annoying, because that is like the principal conflict that drives the plot forward, and then nothing happens with it. The series ends on her going, I'm definitely going to tell them. Credits roll.
No.
It's just like, and then there are other little things like that, just like, but overall, I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed it.
I am surprised that you enjoyed it, because I genuinely thought you wouldn't like it that much.
The thing is, right, I had no idea what it was going into it, and then I started watching it. It was like, hang on, is this the BB gun anime? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of a bit more than your quintessential. Because I thought, oh, okay, this is just going to turn into a reverse harem, and it sort of did, but not quite. Like, it has a lot of the tropes and stuff, which I think plays against it in one aspect, which is with Midori. I have a lot of issues with Midori as a character, but yeah, it was good. I'm going to stop rambling so I don't run out of things to say.
Thalia, what do you think about it? I know, but what do you think about it?
Well, I really, really like this anime. When I started watching it, I saw the first episode, and like most people thought this is Ouran High School Host Club with BB guns. So it was really cool to see that. It was just like something fresh and new that I haven't seen before. And I like the main character straight away. And I have to say, they did the whole trap thing so good. There was a lot of times where I was like, wait, oh, it's a girl, right, it's a girl. So it's like that I had to remember that. So I think they have done a really good job on that. And all of the other main characters, like the two boys, they were perfect. I really liked their chemistry and stuff, and how they talked to each other, and how we got to know about their pasts and all that as well. I liked how they actually put some time into that, because that was something that I didn't really expect them to do. So that was something that I really liked. Also, Toru Yukimura is best boy, just saying.
Yep.
Because
we've got the banners, we've got the best boy banners.
We got Yukimura up there, so it's all good. But yeah, he's best boy because he is an SM manga artist. So
I would agree. I quite like Yukimura a lot. But
you win.
I mean, for me, Tachibana's best boy, who is actually a girl.
Yeah.
But you know me, reverse traps are kind of my thing. I don't know why. They get me going in a weird way. Like Joey Jones, he's a reverse trap, right?
Joey Jones is definitely that.
Don't shatter my dreams.
I really enjoyed it. I just feel like we do need a second season because of that ending. And even watching the OVA was super fun, but we also don't really get anything out of it. So we need a second season for sure, because from what I've heard, it does go further than, and it does show us the things that we want to see in the manga. So that is why I really do want a second season.
I want to read the manga.
Or read the manga, but still, I would like to see it animated, because I think the fights and all that stuff were done really, really well. I really liked that. So
sure. I really, really, really like this show. And I put it on my best of last year's list. It was like number 9 or something. And people were like, oh my god, you put this show on there. Like, not a lot of people are fans of this show, but I really liked it. I thought it was just fun, and they had characters that I could get invested in. Like, Yukimura was my favourite, but I didn't dislike Matsuna either. But oh dear. He was like Takumi from Around High School Host Club, but with a BB gun.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a bit of a knob, but
yeah, that's what I mean. He ddid dickish things. And
yeah.
like, it's like, oh, I didn't mean to do the dickish things, but you did them. That's
You did
like,
dickish them.
I can't remember which episode it is, but it's the episode where I guess part of it is because I'm very protective of Tachibana. You know, she is my baby, and I must protect her at all costs. There's that episode where he made her really, really cross by saying that he was being like sycophantic. And I was like, you have done absolutely nothing wrong. This guy is just being a dick because you called him a dick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's my personal beef because I am very biased.
That's fine. But yeah, I liked the characters. I think anytime that I felt, oh, maybe this isn't that good, Yukimura was the one who made me go, no, this is a good show, because he's just so funny. Like, he's so funny. He's adorable. And
especially like the
we would
second.
get on.
Oh,
Hey, I
yeah.
have turned up outside your school to give you some porn.
I feel like me and Yukimura, if he was real, would be really good friends. Like, we'd hang out, we'd play
same.
eroge together, it'd be great. But yeah, I like it. I like this show, even though not a lot of people did. I think it's a fun watch if you don't take it too seriously, like everybody seems to be taking anime watching nowadays. So.
Oh, I know. The problem is everyone's just so cynical. That's the issue that I have right now. But I think it's definitely worth at least one watch. Like it gets its one.
It gets its one, yeah.
Yeah. And whether you enjoy it or not, I'd say it's far from bad.
Mm.
Like I say, there are issues with the plot, but that also ties into the fact that it doesn't resolve. Like it ends at a really odd point. So
Well, also, it's not finished yet, so I mean, you can't really. The manga isn't finished yet, so we can
only
just hope
thing-
for like a second season.
I feel like I would be totally, completely content with this as like a standalone thing had Tachibana said to them that she's a girl, because I want to know how they react to that
I
so
honestly
badly.
I genuinely thought that when she was like, right, we're going to have a duel, and if I win, I'm going to make you say whatever I want. I thought that what she was going to say is, I accept you back into the team despite the fact that I'm a girl.
Oh, that
And
would
then
be
he'd be
cool.
like, he'd be like, what? You're a girl? Oh, but I have to say it. No.
And then the harem could begin. It'd be great. All right.
It's already sort of started in a weird way because
Yeah.
there was that bit where he was like blushing and stuff. I'm like, oh, why am I blushing? He's totally going to go gay, and then realise that she's a girl and be like, oh, thank God.
I feel like it's aiming towards, like, in my personal opinion, I feel like it will aim towards like a Matsun ending over a Yukimura ending, which makes me a bit sad. But
Where's the cam ending?
Yeah.
I ship her with the guy from Hoshishido. Oh crap, what's his name? The really tall guy who's really awkward.
Fujimon.
Yeah, he's my favourite of all the boys.
Oh my
I love
God,
that guy.
he's hilarious.
He's adorable.
Oh, he is.
Just
He
when he's
does
like trying to
too
talk to
much.
kids, and he scares the crap out of the kids and the parents.
Giant white-haired man.
Oh, I loved him. The moment when I saw him and when I saw they were working together as a doctor or something like that, and he just does everything for Midori or whatever his name is.
Yeah. When he's
Oh
like,
my God.
I want to give you a bike ride. Get on the back of my bike. Yeah, that's
Oh my
illegal.
God.
Oh, I made a trailer. Get in the back of the trailer. Yeah, no, it's still illegal. And then he makes a frigging sidecar. But Midori doesn't even ride in it. What's
No.
Tanaka's rides it
It ends
instead?
up being that girl who teases him
Yeah.
the whole time.
That girl who has all the development.
Yeah.
Well, I will we'll get more into that as well because yeah.
Ooh.
Let's just say this. I can tell this is definitely a show aimed at women, or aimed kind of the normal, like fans of kind of reverse harems and stuff like that. Because the way this show deals with women is a very similar way that the show deals with, or the other shows deal with men when the cast are like predominantly female.
Right, okay.
In other words, they may as well not exist.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it later. So, I don't know how to do this episode, because,
Well, like the beginning, because the beginning was pretty epic with her wrecking the whole place.
oh yeah, it started
I was
off
just like, right, I love that when she like is like wrecking everyone's shit, and I was like, oh man, this kid is awesome. I love him. He's brilliant. He's got a keen sense of justice. I like that. I like that in my heroes. And then they go, oh yeah, by the way, they're a girl. I was just like, even better.
Where's
love
my
you.
Danky Makura? Thalia was the one who got me to watch this by saying it's sort of like around high school host club with BB guns, and it starts off like in a host club with a guy that looks like Takumi.
Yeah.
And they're like fighting with BB guns, and I'm like, cool, I'm in. I'm here. And then it's like, oh, you have to pay for all your damages, and I was like, oh man, it's like around high school host club.
Yeah,
and then
I know, right?
And then it turns out that by like the start of episode 2, she's already paid everything off, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, this isn't the storyline at all.
I think that was fun. It made me laugh.
Yeah. I think the best part of episode 1 was the ending where we actually see Toru, and he's like really mysterious, and I was like, ooh, who is this guy? And then we actually get to meet him in episode 2, and I was so happy to actually see how he was, because the introduction for Toru was amazing. Just him coming off as a dick and then just being like, look, I'm this SM artist. Oh,
So
what's up, Cam?
I just discovered something amazing. Because one of the points that I wanted to make is that I really like Tachibana's voice actor. Because they've got the whole
Was it Joey Jones?
I saw Joey, because they're like she's voiced other cool characters as well. So it's Mikako Komatsu, and she's voiced Joey Jones, Sayori from Gundam Build Fighters, and just like other cool characters. I think one that people might recognize is she's Seishiro from Nisekoi.
Okay.
But she just got that kind of vocal style that I really like, where they kind of
like,
pull off the whole
androgynous.
Yeah, I'm a tomboy. She's got the tomboy voice that is like, yeah, that's
like
good.
How I just guessed, is it Joey Jones? And you're like,
Yeah. I thought you knew.
great.
I thought
No,
you knew
I didn't
that.
know.
I was
I
gonna
just
see
guessed.
that.
But I liked the way that they presented, like talking about that. Makoto. It's not Makoto. It's Tachibana. Makoto Tachibana is for free. Oh my god, Tachibana, where she'd never use like male or female pronouns. She'd always just refer to herself as Tachibana, which I thought was quite fun, and clever, because otherwise it would have given it away, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I thought it was a bit like odd. Like it's like someone referring to themselves in the third person, and girls can refer to themselves as Boku if they're being tomboyish. So they could have just gone through that route, and it would have been less weird. Because surely the characters would have been like, you're referring to yourself in the third person. Like, that's weird.
I just think it's really funny that the way that she speaks is like, I, Tachibana, have a strong sense of justice, and I'm going to defeat the bad guys because I am Tachibana.
And she's got super strength. Like, she almost broke down Matson's door about 4 times.
Yeah.
If the doors are like anything like the doors that I actually experienced in Japan, those things are fucking like metal heavy doors, and I'm like, okay, sure. But yeah, I don't know where to go with this episode, so I guess we'll just chat.
So Toru?
I want to talk about Toru. Like, we'll talk about Matson in a minute, I guess. But I liked Toru. We did like a thing on my channel, which was best boys, and Thalia's best boy was Toru for 2015, of all of 2015.
Yep.
And I can't disagree, because I love him, and he probably would have been on my list if he wasn't on yours, because we tried not to do the overlap stuff. And I agree with like, everything you said. Like, he's funny, but he's also like a sort of like a real person where you could like see yourself hanging out with him and see yourself being friends with him and whatever. And the fact that he's just like kind of sadistic at the same time and just hands out porn to like high school students just makes me smile.
I think the thing that really like it, because I really liked him for most of it, and I guess the point that solidified him for me as being like, yes, you're amazing, is when he has like basically it's when Matsun kicks Hotaru out of the team and pushes her out of the flat, and then they have a Barney and Yukimura storms off as well, and I was like, you're storming out of your own house, and then like not a minute later he goes, I've just stormed out of my own house. Shit.
He's so silly and he's so awkward. I like that about him, how he is, and how he just talks to the main character as well. I like how they actually met each other and he was like, I don't like you, you're taking my best friend away, and just like being really mean to her. But afterwards you try to, you can understand it because of the whole story. And it's quite a sad story that Yukimura has as well. And because of that, I could kind of like relate to him as well, because I kind of went through the same thing. And also, I could understand him more as a character. So I think for him, I could understand him more than Matsuoka in that way. I think that's also why I like him better.
Yeah. Besides, I thought that Matsun was just a bit bleh. Like,
he was typical hosts, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm really pretty. I'm a host, but I have a dark past. And yeah.
Sorry,
I don't know.
saw UCDs in chat.
Yeah, me too.
every comment a gem from UCD.
Perfect.
Yeah, Matsuoka in my mind was just a bit like, why do people like you?
Is he pretty?
He's pretty. Yeah, and he's just a bit of a knob, really. Like,
once they like get over that hurdle of like the backstory and him being so insecure about everything, he's a lot more likable, in my opinion. It's just it takes too long to get from you're kind of a dick to, oh, I see why you were being a dick.
The trouble is though, he doesn't explain his actions. like when he kicks Tachibana out of the team, if he'd have just said like, look, I'm kicking you out of the team because XYZ. I don't want you to lose that passion that you've got. Instead he went, are you really passionate about survival games? Wicked, fuck off.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a drama queen.
This is a typical like issue that I have with a lot of like series in general, and it's one thing that like Emily reads a lot of like shoujo manga, and she says this is a common thing that happens in them as well, where people will do things without explaining themselves, when explaining themselves would have resolved all the conflict immediately.
Yeah, well, you need mystery, don't you? Jeez.
Well, I know, like, yeah, okay, yeah, you need to generate conflict to create a good story, fine. But when the solution to that conflict would be just as simple as going, yeah, I'm doing this because this, which is what a normal person would do.
Yeah, but anime's a different world, isn't it?
I know, but it's just like, it's such a frustrating thing.
I mean, like, I have to be honest, I was frustrated as well watching it. I was like, what are you doing? Just like, this is drama for nothing. But at the end, I kind of enjoyed it knowing everything. But I do have to admit, I was like, okay, this is why I like Toribor. I mean,
I suppose like it did kind of get explained a little bit, because Yuki kind of goes into the backstory and basically being like, the truth is, he's a huge coward. And I was like, okay, so they've made him flawed, basically. He's a big coward. He can't face up to his like insecurities and stuff. So I guess that sort of makes sense. But at the same time, like, even if he just tried to bullshit an explanation, which is both him and Yuki have done throughout the entire series, which again brings up another one of my issues with the way the plot kind of carries out. And this is the whole thing of the backstory with the whole thing of they basically present it like, oh, the reason why Matsun has such this massive beef with Midori is because we had a girl in our team and he like did some horrible stuff to her and made her want to quit. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then they flip it on its head towards the end and go, oh, actually no, they were playing with the rules. They didn't really do anything wrong. It was all Matsun's fault that she left, pretty much. And I was like, well, okay, but now I have no reason to understand why Matsun's got this massive beef with Midori. They were just friends in school, and now suddenly they have this huge craziness, and it also completely negated the fact that, like, they present Midori as a complete asshole, like to the point of like being a psychopath in their like initial battle.
Yeah.
But he's got no reason to be like that now. Like in the backstory, if the backstory that Yukimura presented was true, then it would make sense that he would act like that. But now it doesn't. He's just a dick for no reason.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, I mean
No, neither did I.
that's the reason why I don't like Midori as a character, because it almost feels like he's had the masochist trait just kind of put on him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're the masochistic one because the girls are like that.
Yeah, I can
That's
see
true.
that.
It did come up that way.
I meant sadistic. Got it the wrong way around. He's sadistic. What? Statistic? Sadistic.
Yeah.
He can be statistic too, like whatever. Be what you want to be.
Statistically, he's a knob.
Yeah, Midori was probably a character that I personally didn't get much out of, because the whole sadistic thing, for me, when it's not done in like a comedy aspect, like it's done in Najiro days, is not my thing. I don't like it. It's just
Sebastian telling you to bark like a duck.
Well, maybe if it was Sebastian, but that's Sebastian. He's an exception to every rule.
True.
But other than, like, I just don't like that character type, and I knew there was something up with him from the moment he was introduced, where he's like, "Oh, let me just feel you a bit. Oh, I know you're a girl now," and I'm like, "There's something not right here."
Yeah.
Especially when like Yuki came in and he was all like, "What the fuck? What's going on here?"
Yeah. I think he was alright. I didn't really hate him. Especially at the end, I kind of was like, okay, he's alright. He's not too bad. And especially actually seeing the OVA, I was like, okay, he's cool. But I don't know. I didn't think he was annoying. They definitely did that on purpose, that he was like the super bad guy and everyone should hate him. But
that's the thing. They just kind of made him the villain.
Yeah, like, I don't mind, because I was kind of expecting that to be one of the characters that everyone would hate. And I think they kind of made it up by having his teammates on his team, because I did like the white-haired guy. Yeah.
Fujimon.
Fujimon hype.
And the girl was alright as well. I didn't have anything against her.
It's a shame that she had
she's
no
like
development. Yeah.
She was cool.
The problem is, I don't like her character type of like, oh, this is a character that I really, really like, and you can't go anywhere near them, or otherwise I'm gonna act like a cat and
I will
just
destroy you.
I don't know. I'm just gonna be the biggest bitch to you. She was a bitch to Fujimon, and I actually quite like Fujimon because he's a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
And, he'd be great to get like a piggyback ride of, because she'd get like a really great view. But I like.
If ever there was a character that was like created to fill space, like they keep accusing Hotaru of being, that's her. Because after they have the battle, she's not in it anymore.
Is she not?
Like, you see her like once after that initial battle. She doesn't do anything. And she's not at the cafe. Like Midori and Fujimon are at the cafe when they have that scene. She's not. There's that maid girl. Unless that maid girl is her. Like, oh, this is my second job.
Maybe, you know. Might be.
Well, maybe I don't know.
She works in a hospital, though, so I'd be surprised if she has the time to have a second job.
That's true.
Yeah. What was her name even? Trying to find it, but I don't know.
Blue-haired, big boob girl.
Ichi.
Ichi, is
No.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ichi.
no, it is. Ichi Akabane.
One thing I find quite funny, going like back to her fight with forgetting everyone's names, Yukimura. It was just a bit where it's like, I hadn't really paid that much attention to her as a character. I was like, oh, okay, she's a bit of a bitch, that's fine. She's like the enemy team, so that's expected. And then there's just the bit where like Yukimura is looking at her through the scope, and he's like, bloody hell, she's got massive boobs. And then I went, yes, she has. And then from that point on, I couldn't look at anything else. I was like, she has actually got massive tits.
See, you and Yukimura, pretty much the same person.
We're big best friends. Yeah.
Maybe I should start writing manga, but I would not write the manga that he writes, because that was weird. My little sister is a raptor.
The Beck said in chat, Midori messed with my head because he looks and acts at the beginning like Makoto from Free, so all I could think throughout
and
Midori's
then
statistic
suddenly he's
scenes is
evil.
why my precious cinnamon roll was acting like this.
I guess my beef with Makoto is kind of Midori, sorry, is solidified in the scene with at the end of their battle when he's basically got this made me feel proper uncomfortable as well, where he's got Matsun like pinned to the ground, like straddling him, shooting him like constantly, being like, "Oh, you can't say hit because I'm covering your mouth. Oh, I'm such a dick." And he's like there, like flailing and stuff. Like this looks really this is really homoerotic and weird. Just because of the shot was like directly at their crotches, and they were like wobbling around. I was like, this makes me feel really uncomfortable. Like my heterosexuality is like flailing in hatred. But again, that scene doesn't make any sense because they do the whole thing of they were horrible to the girl and everything. But in the actual flashback that we see, he's not that harsh. He is he's a bit of a knob by saying, "Oh, I can't say freeze. That's not allowed." But that's all he does, and he's within the rules. Whereas in that scene, he's clearly stopping him from saying that I've been hit, and then shooting him and being really sadistic, which doesn't fit with the flashback unless between then and now he's become more of a twat. So it's suddenly this scene doesn't make any sense. It was
could be
really
they're treating me like a weird villain man, so maybe I will be a weird villain man.
Yeah, it could be something in that respect. But I think the trouble is they try and present it what am I trying to say? They put in these scenes where he acts like a massive douche, but then try to make him somewhat sympathetic at the same time by being he did nothing wrong.
Well, he did now.
He definitely did
exactly.
now.
Well, he's doing it now. You can't say he's done nothing wrong now.
That scene, I was just like, holy shit, this is really intense.
I like that. I like that about the series, though, because they have a lot of scenes that are really, really intense in the battle scenes. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Just by the end of the series, after all has kind of been revealed, I was just like, what are you trying to put across with this character? Because at the moment, he doesn't make any sense. The way he is doesn't,
I feel like in the manga, maybe later on, we will probably have more flashbacks about him and maybe more info about him, because we definitely need that. Because now it just, in a way, it makes sense, but they are kind of only making it worse for his character. So, we need a second season. I'll keep saying this until we get one.
I think we do need a second season.
It's pretty much a given, really. But yeah, it just kind of what we really need to know is the details of his relationship with Matsun. We got some glimpses, they went to school together, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's not enough. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
My assumption was that they were really good friends until a certain point, and now they're not. My
original, I thought when they were throwing all the mystery about what happened with the girl, I almost thought for a second that the big reveal was going to be that initially Matsun was part of Hoshido, and he was on the team, and the girl was in an opposing team, and he saw Midori do that and was like, "Oh shit, I can't deal with this anymore."
Oh, that would have been interesting.
That's when he forms Toy Gun Gun or Ganga, whatever they're called.
Toy Gun Gun, yeah.
Toy Gun Gun. And then it turned out to be not that. Oh, actually, he did nothing wrong. Oh, what a disappointment.
Speaking of Toy Gun Gun, the opening theme. I really like the opening theme, and it's
so good.
It's done by Toy Gun Gun. That's the credited artist.
Oh, nice.
It's all three of the voice
actors.
Voice
actors, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I really,
voice actors are really good too.
Yeah, who voiced Yuki?
Wasn't it Sosuke? Because I know it was someone that you were like, oh no.
Yeah, Sosuke.
It was Sosuke, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Best character.
No.
Sosuke best free. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I would massage his shoulder every day.
Wait, was it him from Free?
I'm Oh, it's usually,
Yes.
yeah.
We're just gonna say yes.
No, it's not. So
Damn it!
so
Doesn't
shut
stop
up.
me, still the best.
Shut up. Hold on. What's he been in?
He has done others. Aoharu died. Oh no, he's not the main character. Who cares?
He's not Ko.
Yeah.
Oh God, what has he been in that I've seen? Shirobako?
I'm pretty sure we talked about this before.
I feel like we did. He was the main he was one of the main characters in Shokugeki no Soma, which I haven't seen. So
Well, there's your first mistake.
Well, he's the main character of Shokugeki no Soma, so
he's Kirito in Sword Art Online.
Oh, it's that guy. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Why have I not seen anything that this dude's been in? I mean, I've seen like Starmute and Sword Art Online. I think
We're gonna watch.
And No Game No Life. He's the main guy from No Game No Life as well.
We've seen that.
I don't
We're gonna
know.
be watching Shogeki no Soma at some point as well.
Yeah, it's on the list.
So good.
I really want to watch it. So.
Right, who is Matsuoka then? Because that guy has done a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Probably Sosuke from Free.
Yes.
Oh, look at that! He was not Sosuke from Free.
But he's in Starmute. Oh wait, he wasn't.
Who was he in Starmute?
Oh, he was Kugashu. Your second favorite.
Hey! I like that
Hey!
guy. I know him.
Yeah.
He was also Camus in Utena Prince Summer, so I'd like him less, but okay.
I think
He
the voice.
was Hack in Yona.
Yeah, he was Hack.
Also, the voice cast in this show was overall very good.
Yeah.
Like there were no characters that I really had a problem with in terms of how they presented their characters vocally.
And the fact that they did like the opening theme, and I think the ending theme too, but I think that might have just been. I'll check.
I think best voice acting though. Funnily enough, I think we're just gonna spend the entire show stroking his balls. But Yukimura is probably the best performed character of the lot.
Oh my god, yeah.
Just because he had such like an interesting range. Because like obviously when you have characters that be like, "Hi, I'm Yukimura. Porn, hello." You don't really get much more than that. But when the scenes got really heated, he'd actually start like raving and shouting and stuff. And I was like, "Oh man, you're a badass."
Well, you should love the ending themes, Cam, because they are sung by Tachibana's voice actress.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Because I really like the ending song as well.
Yeah. But, like, both of them are really, really good. But I actually ended up buying the opening theme because I was like, I just need this on CD. Because
I didn't spend as much time with the ending as I did with the opening because, of course, I was like, I gotta skip through
it's really
the
good.
opening. So I get lazy, like I skip to the next episode, and they'd be like, "Oh, if I try to skip the opening, that involves interacting with the Viewster player, so I'm just gonna leave it."
That's true.
True.
Yeah, the worst thing about watching this show, the fact that you had to watch it on Viewster.
Yeah,
Viewster's all right. It's just not. It does kind of crap itself.
I can't skip forward without getting an advert. So
watching it on I watched a couple of episodes in bed on my phone. And the one thing I hate about it is it'll randomly go, ad starting in 5 seconds. And I'll be like, oh no, not an ad. And then it'll go to 0. And then the ad won't start for ages. And then it'll start in a really awkward place.
Did you get that Adidas advert 70 times? I
got a G-Star advert. And I was like, yeah, man, G-Star Raw. I want them jeans. I'm an anime fan. I care about fashion. What was the other one that I got? Oh, a one for a really weird one for a Lenovo tablet, which had this guy who had a crazy mustache that kept changing shape and stuff. No,
you haven't seen the
I've seen that one. I saw that one when we were watching Kekai Sensen. But no, it's his mustache kept changing shape. And there was a girl who was watching him play on his tablet, and her pigtails were going all over the place like this.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I was like, what?
English adverts are really fucking weird.
Yeah, it sounds weird. I don't ever have adverts on Viewster on my TV, so
get them all the fucking time. It's like, oh man, the opening's about to start. Have an advert. Oh man, the opening's finished. Have an advert. Oh man, this really intense scene between Shirayuki and Zen. Have an advert.
So it's like Daisuke then, because that's also kind of...
Yeah, a little
At
bit.
least
Like
the
when
thing
we
is-
were trying to watch Prince of Stride, and it was like, One Piece, get your new.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I like about Daisuke is at least the adverts are kind of directed at
Yeah.
the
through
people who'd be
anime
watching
and
this stuff.
yeah.
Like, my favourite one is there's like a Dragon Ball Z app, and then it's like this really hype guy being like, finally, the Dragon Ball Z app is now available to download. Oh! This is hype, I
Wow.
want it. And then,
Yeah.
like, advertising figures and stuff, and I'll be like, okay, this is really cool.
But when it's like this Adidas advert that you've seen 7 times already in this episode, but whatever. Anyway, that's our talk of Viewster.
We've gone on a bit of a tangent, really, haven't we?
And the good
You
news is
sponsor
you
it.
can't get ad-free Viewster anymore because they're cancelling the Omakase program. So
Oh, really?
I've not heard anything about that. Like, I saw Ken tweet about it, but I've not heard anything.
they
Official.
posted something on the website.
Oh, okay, I've not seen anything like on their Twitter or whatever. Then again, I did unfollow them recently because Viewster's one of those Twitter accounts where I think it's because I've got too many that do this, where they'll ask like a really generic question and then put a random anime picture.
Oh, yeah.
But they've started repeating themselves, and I was like, I can't deal with
They
this.
did. And they put spoilers in there as well.
Oh, no
Times.
way!
So I'm like, yep.
Yeah, we are literally discussing adverts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, it shows that we've got good chemistry because we can talk about anything. It's fine.
True.
But apparently not the anime that we're supposed to be talking about.
We'll get back to that. I've still got things that I need to say. Let's talk about something else.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to go back to something that I mentioned earlier, which is kind of like I don't want to use this word, but I have there's no other way that I can describe it. I can't help but feel like this show is a little bit sexist towards women, which
Okay.
again is like I was saying earlier, it's because of the target audience. Like it's definitely directed towards women. So you've got Tachibana, okay, that's fine. You kind of have this weird. They've done something very strange because normally with like reverse harem shows, they'll make a character that's easily projectable, and that works in one of two ways. So you either get people that like successfully project themselves onto the lead female, or you get people that go in the completely opposite direction and decide they hate that person because they want to be in that position. Like Ebby and I have both experienced this with Starry Sky.
Lol.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second because that's a fun story.
Yeah. But I guess they've done it in a very interesting way, in that they've made it so by Hotaru being a reverse trap, you can kind of get away with them being another member of the cast that girls can be like, oh, they look like a boy, that's fine. I'll go there. It's all good. Like it's kind of like a me with Joey Jones sort of thing. Joey Jones is my waifu. I can imagine people like feeling a similar sort of way. And it appeals to me because, hell yes, please. The main character is also best girl. That never happens.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's because the main character is pretty much only girl, apart from one thing. And apart from the pink-haired girl, who I forget the name of, who was also very cool. Like, whenever she turned up, she was either funny or, like, awesome.
I barely remember
But
her, to be
that's kind of where the like girl support kind of ends. And one of my biggest problems that I have with this show that genuinely really pissed me off was the fact that the girl in the flashbacks doesn't even have a name. They never name her.
That's true.
She's just this faceless random girl. She is just girl. They refer to her as her or the girl. You were in a team with her. Surely you should have some sort of feelings of like camaraderie with them. Whether you liked them or you didn't, you should at least refer to them by name.
Yeah.
Maybe
that
it's someone we know, though, or we have seen that
Could
they
be,
just want to
could
keep
be.
it hidden.
could be that they're purposely obfuscating it for whatever reason. Maybe the maid in the cafe. Maybe that's the girl. Maybe they've left and then come back and they've suddenly become badass at survival games.
Mhm.
Initially, I thought it would have been interesting if Ichi turned out to be that girl. So like
Yeah.
she gets
I
like,
thought that as well, actually.
yeah,
At first.
like she gets terrorized into leaving survival games, and then because Midori is this like manipulative asshole, he ends up convincing her to come back and joining his team to be
because
even
you're just
more
like
mindfuck for Matsun.
yeah.
That would have been very interesting.
I think because I had the same thought because I was convinced that she was in love with him and she would just do anything for him, whatever. So
That
it does come off that way.
Yeah, and yeah, it would have been cool. But again, I feel like that doesn't really play into this weird duality they've got where they can't seem to decide what Midori's character is. So, yeah, but again, like I say, that I don't know what you guys think, but that really annoyed me. I was like,
I can see where you're coming from for sure, yeah.
Or at least, like, you give her a nickname. Or if you don't want to name drop her because of, like, further on plot reasons, give her a nickname or something.
Yeah.
I wasn't really annoyed by that. So
Yeah, I guess it's just me being some sort of social justice warrior. I didn't even realise I was.
I can see what you mean because with a lot of Reverse Harms are like a really good example of them actually. They have like a female character and don't really give them much of a personality. But when I see things like hi camera, do you want to be in focus or not?
I was about to say sorry. Yeah. Do the hand thing.
Ooh.
do that.
There we go. When I used to run the anime club at our university, I decided that since we had like a fair amount of girls in the club, I would put on like a reverse harem. So I chose Starry Sky because it was short. Starry Sky is a terrible show, by the way. Don't ever watch it. And I put this show on, hoping to like appease them because there were a lot of shows that were more aimed towards dudes or whatever. I tried to do a mix. So I put Starry Sky on, and they would do nothing but complain about this heroine character. It'd be like, oh god, I can't believe she's in this situation. She's such a Mary Sue. So when I think about that sort of stuff and compare it with the fan base that they're maybe trying to like target with it, I can see why they would choose to portray women in that way. It's not good because
it's a similar criticism that I have with, like, all jokes aside, one of my main criticisms about K-On! As a series is that there are no men. Like, men don't exist in K-On! I think I saw one in the OVA, and there were like random side characters in the movie. I think, the Ibis, London City. But yeah, other than that, there are, like, at least in the first series, I never bothered with the second one, but yeah, no men. They just, what even are they? And again, I think that is just because of the target audience that they're trying to appeal to. They're not interested in seeing blokes. But it really, it's just like, how
I think K-On! Could get away with it in a way because they were an all-girls school, but it doesn't really make sense why when they were out, they never saw dudes.
Yeah, exactly. So. Like, that makes sense. But yeah, like, do none of the characters like have family that are men? Do they go out and see
only
them
sisters and mothers and maybe aunts on occasion.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, what? And I guess it's just like, are you really that afraid that your audience won't be able to deal with the fact that the opposite gender exist?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit.
I see what you mean.
It resonated with that, and I was just like,
Because I find that when they treat women really like good in shows like this, like with Yona, for example, Yona's a badass.
Yeah.
Like that works a lot better. But the thing is with Tachibana, she is a girl and she is badass. It's just she looks like a dude, and I often think, oh yeah, that's a dude. That's not a dude, rather. That's a girl.
Amza just said that he thinks that one of the characters in K-On! Has a brother. If they do, if you've seen it and you're unsure, that kind of proves my point.
It's Ritsu has a really young little brother.
Yeah, like okay, yeah, a tiny little boy. Well, that like that, okay, whatever.
Yeah, not the same age.
Yeah. And again, do they do anything? Probably not.
No.
That's kind of here in this series, like her best friend of Tachibana. I mean, I would have liked to have more female characters in here, but I felt like she wasn't as important, and I didn't connect with her at all. If I do have to choose a female character, it's that girl who kind of helped them when they were training or something. I think
girl
she helped.
Awesome.
Yeah, she was really awesome, and she was like one of the best as well, I think. And it was when Matsun was like, "Oh, you go train with them because you're not good enough yet." And that was a really cool episode from her actually learning from a girl.
Mm.
That was good.
Bex brings up a good point in saying that probably the best reverse harems have heroines that aren't self-inserts.
Yeah.
And I guess that works into because Johnny like asked the question, why is Tachibana a girl? Did it serve any purpose? Served a purpose for me, and, my loins, but I guess they tried to do the whole thing of she's a girl, so we can have like the romance element. We can do the whole
it's like
Merchant. Is it Merchant of Venice? Am I thinking of Merchant of Venice, where the girl pretends to be a guy?
I don't know.
The Shakespeare,
the wrong person.
the Shakespeare play where a girl pretends to be a guy. It's not the Merchant of Venice; it's another one. But anyway, whatever. It's very true. I think the reason for that is because when you've got an established character that isn't just a self-insert, you can do a lot more with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can establish them properly. You can have they can react to things in a much more daring way.
Yeah.
Whereas when you have a self-insert, you can't take any risks.
I feel like Tachibana was a little bit of both in a way, because the only purpose to her being a girl was so I personally feel like there is that conflict there that never really gets resolved. But it's also because it makes a very good point for female watchers to insert themselves onto this character in any way that they can.
Yeah, definitely.
And also,
they've tried
yaoi.
Well, precisely. It kind of covers both bases. You've got,
exactly.
I mean, the issue with Tachibana is she has a very strong character. Like, her archetype is something that people might not get on with as a main character. Because, it was 12th Night, okay. See, I'm not brushed up on my Shakespeare at all. Anyway, yeah. So, me, I love that character archetype because I'm into the heroes and shit. But I can understand why that would be a bit much for some people, especially when it's in every episode as your protagonist.
Yeah.
Normally they're side characters that are really my sense of justice. Ah!
Yeah, they're comedic side characters.
Yeah. So yeah, they've tried to go with the self-insert thing, but they've applied that to a very strong character, which may not work. I think it's gonna become more of a thing later on when I think it's actually revealed that she is a woman, because then Matsun will be suddenly all of my feelings are quantified.
Yeah.
These weird feelings that I have.
I think it will be the same. I think how you were reacting to it. I think Matsun will definitely react very differently from Toru. I think Toru will be I mean, I kind of knew probably. I think it's kind of gonna be something like that. He's gonna be chill about it, I think. But Matsun, I think, is gonna freak out if that ever happens. But yeah.
It's just be wicked. Now all that manga that I've drawn isn't gay. I don't have to be confused anymore. And then she'd be
the whole thing with the her being that whole thing with justice. I don't mind that. I think that's something that I really liked about her, because she came off even stronger, and her being a girl dressed as a boy. I'm still wondering why we didn't get a backstory on that, because I really want to know why she is like that and how she became like that, because we don't really have an answer to that.
Yeah,
I'm wondering.
I sort of assumed that it was people take men more seriously when they're warriors of justice. So
my general thoughts on it were I mean that I don't think that needs to be explained. It would be nice. But I think it's just the way she is, and you could get away with that. I guess my reasoning for it, if I seriously thought about it, she can't go around battering people in a girl's uniform. She'd have to wear a skirt and stuff. Like, I'm a warrior of justice. I'm going to kick you in the face. Oh no, it's my pants. Oh.
Yeah, but she could be like Fumina from Gun and Bill Fighters, where she like wears the
the
spandex
bloomers
shorts.
underneath.
Yeah,
that would be hot. Like when they were doing like the fight with the water guns, and then she turns up in her shorts. I was like, yes.
A+.
There was a bit where she was like on the floor, and the camera's very, very cleverly placed behind her. I was just like, is this show for girls? It was only for like a split second though, so I was really sad when it was gone. I am not the target audience for this show at all.
But that's why I'm kind of surprised that you enjoyed it.
Well, yeah.
Because I get why me and Thalia liked it, because it had Yukimura in it. But
the thing is, right, I have my set genres. Like I am very predictable when it comes to what I'm definitely going to like. But like I can watch anything of any genre as long as it's good, and this is good. The real
test will be in October when the Token Rambu Slice of Life anime comes out.
Well, I have to watch that because of how much I've played the bloody game. That is really going to test me. Like that. Yeah, that's going to be the test.
One of these days, or at least in my dreams, an anime will play with the trap trope and create a legitimate trans character. You should watch Wandering Sun. You should watch Wandering Sun.
I think the issue with that is, at least I can't speak like for definite, but of my experience with how Japan as a culture deals with stuff like that, it's very different to the West. Like it's not as accepted as it is over here. Even stuff like homosexuality, which has been generally accepted in Western society for a long time, is still very often seen as a bit of a joke over there.
Which is so weird, considering fucking how many yaoi series come out of that country.
But usually when you have a homosexual character, at least in like regular stuff, they are very flamboyant and very camp and kind of seen as a comic relief for that reason. It's like, oh, he's gay, that's funny. That's just in my experience with things that I've watched.
Wandering Sun actually handles it quite well, so have a go at that one if you haven't already. Thanks.
It's an argument that I have with a lot of people that kind of talk about objectification of women in Japan as well. It's just like
different culture, like completely.
Unfortunately,
different culture.
It's not necessarily correct. It's just the way it is over there. Like if I could change it, I would, but I can't.
Oh, you got to go to Japan first. That's the
before we go from ads to socio-political debates. Let's go back to the anime. So, what else do we need to talk about? We've gone through a very.
I feel like we've gone through this in a really strange order, so I don't know what we've talked about.
we've clearly got a lot to talk about, but it's kind of everything does. We've talked about a vast range of subjects, so you can bash this anime all you want, but it's raised a lot of stuff with us, like a lot of conversation.
I like this anime. I do. It's just I don't really have much to say about it. Like if I was to write a review about it, I wouldn't be like, oh, I've got so much to say. I'd be like, Aoharu x Kikanju was an anime. I watched it and I liked it. Thanks. Yeah. See you guys next time.
In 12 episodes, not a lot happens. It's really
weird. A lot of fights.
Yeah.
I'd say what I do like about this show actually is the fact that it takes that survival game idea and makes it not lethal. Because whenever there's survival games, it's like they must fight for their lives with mobile phones and magic powers. But with this one, it's just like they just want to win BB guns.
Got a BB gun, mate, and the BBs look like lasers.
Lasers. Sorry, what were you going to say, Thalia?
As soon as they mentioned lasers, I was like, yes, lasers, please. Oh man, I've lost my train of thought. The only thing I was going to say is BB guns don't sound like that.
Probably not.
they make them sound like actual guns, and it's just like they don't sound like that. Even if you've got like a proper air canister, the best you're going to get is a thunk, which is a cool noise in of itself. And I guess that would have been like, again, it's for the drama aspect, isn't it? And they take it all very serious. But I think it would have almost been. I would have appreciated it a lot more if they'd gone with like what they actually sound like. Because they do look and feel like actual weapons when you get to like the really high end stuff. I only know because I had a vague interest in BB guns when I was I was a youngin. Matt was once shot by a BB gun at point blank. 'Twas fun. Yeah.
That shit hurts, man. I mean,
it's not pleasant at all.
No. I used to have one myself.
Never had a BB gun. I feel like I'm left out of the club.
I had one when I was like a proper. I think I was like a young teenager, but it was a really crap one because I had no money. And I couldn't get like a massive one because I had to hide it from my mom.
Yeah.
Naturally. I remember when I was like smuggling it into the house. I was like, how am I going to do this? Because I went to like Birmingham, I bought it from a shop in there, and I came home and I was like, right, I need to smuggle this BB gun into my house without my mom noticing. And I remember opening the door with the bag in my hand and just being like, oh, I really need the loo, and then like ran through the house to get the bag. I didn't need the loo. I just thought, if I run, maybe she won't notice the bag. Then a few years later, I spent like loads of my student loan on a PS3. I couldn't do that with the PS3, and my mum got angry. I really need the loo. Whoa, massive bag.
Oh, great. I think what I also wanted to mention is that this series feels more like a sports series, and I've said this since the beginning. But when they are fighting, when the whole tournament stuff is going on, it really felt like a sports series, and I kind of forgot all about the whole fluff going on between the characters when that was going on.
Fights don't outstay their welcome either. They're all like very short. Even
they're quite contained, like in their own episodes and stuff.
I mean, even the battle with Hoshido, which I thought was going to be like, oh, this is a big deal. It's going to go on for ages. No, it was like an episode and a half.
For me, that's fine. I like it that it's not like 3 episodes, because otherwise I would have been like, when is this gonna end? Because I don't like it when they put too much time into it. Because it's not like Kuroko no Basket where they have to explain everything. They just do it.
Kuroko can get away with it because there's so much stuff going on. But I think with this, it's kind of, it is very fast paced, and I think it kind of reflects what a survival game would actually be like. They wouldn't go on for a long time unless you were like, my team specializes in guerrilla warfare. We've lost Ebby.
No, Ebby!
Oh, I'm back. I'm sorry.
She's back.
My internet died for a second. I could hear you talking, but I couldn't see you, and then it just went all dropped, and I was like,
what did you? We'll revert to you then. So, what did you think about like the length of the battles in this series? Because they were very short.
Yeah, they didn't outstay their welcome, like you said. Because I'm not one for like massive action scenes that go on for episodes and episodes and episodes. Because I quite like fluff in between to like get context for stuff. And this felt like it balanced the the fluff and the actual action quite well. So I liked it.
I would say the pacing in this show is actually really, really good. Like I said, there was never a point where I was like, oh, can we just get to a survival game already?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, the survival game's getting boring now. It was always like, it was paced very well. You had a little bit of action, a little bit of like comedy or like whatever. And you go, do this. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I can get behind this.
There was one episode though where she goes to talk to her best friend. And she runs or something like that. Like they do a little competition.
I like that episode.
That was but when I saw the episode, I was like, this is completely different from what we've seen so far. But that was cool though. I liked it, but I was just a bit confused. Like, well, okay, what's going on? Because her best friend is she's just there. So okay.
Yeah, it was a bit like again. I think this kind of shows like the way that they convey ideas to other people. It's just like, okay, so your best friend is doing the thing where she runs to prove that it's okay to lose. Like, you can still be cool if you lose. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, now you're doing the exact same thing with Matsun when you're doing this survival game and losing constantly. Yeah. It was like, okay, you could just have a chat. You don't have to, like, go out exactly. But again, it's adding to the drama. And that's what made, like, her friend is really cool. And, like, in a way, like I made that argument about saying, "Oh, this show is a little bit sexist," but that really, she's kind of the exception, I suppose, because she was a very cool character, and for what little she did, it was great, and especially with at the start of the series, they presented her as a bit of an airhead, being all like, "Oh, I went to the host cafe and I spent all my money. Oh, boys, lol." And I was like, "Oh."
I mean, I can relate. So
yeah, she's. I guess she's kind of like the exception that almost proves the rule, because you've got these two. You've got the really strong character in Tachibana. You've got her, who is potentially very strong. She just doesn't get enough airtime, and then you have this whole issue with the backstory character that doesn't even have a friggin' name.
Yep.
I'm not salty at all. And again, like I mean, that's not just reserved for her either. There was the other character, like the second person that came in and then left, who they showed like hovering around the cafe. So I know that like he's definitely going to become a thing, but he wasn't mentioned by name either, and I felt that was a bit strange.
I even forget about that, so that already shows like how much they, I don't know, made him important.
Yeah. There was like one cut. Like, there's a cut where they're sitting at the table and he's there in the background. You don't really know who he is at that point, but he's got like his hood up. You can't see his eyes. It's like, oh, you look very mysterious and menacing. Like, you're clearly up to something. And then it cut to him, and you get like a shot of him being like shown. He's like reading a newspaper or something, but he's glaring at them.
Oh,
like,
right. Yeah.
Okay, so you're clearly an important character. And then you see him in the flashback with his hood up, and it's like, okay, you were that guy. Again, it's nothing, nothing bad.
I don't remember.
Nothing else is really said about him. He came, he lost his interest in survival games, then he left, but he clearly still plays them. Maybe he's gone like super serious, like he really enjoyed survival games, and I was like, I'm just going to be the best, I'm going to kill everyone.
Sounds like someone I know in a way. There's this guy that I know who really, really liked anime, and then he stopped liking anime because he lost interest in it. Sounds really familiar to me.
Yeah, but he didn't lose interest in anime because he got like beaten in an anime off.
I beat him in an anime off because my knowledge is just too strong. There you go.
I got my 2 Winchesters with anime girls painted on them, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, with his fucking spin loading, I was like, what? Some kind of pretentious knob. Check out my spin cocking, mate.
I don't know.
It's like that is like so impractical. I mean, okay, it makes sense because you're dual wielding, but still.
Yeah,
Silly
I think
bugger.
we've gone through most of it.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said or mentioned, I think my biggest problem is the fact that the conflict of Tachibana being a girl never got resolved.
Yeah.
And that needs to get resolved in order for me to be like, oh, that was super, like, oh, I feel really satisfied with that ending or whatever. So
what I don't understand is they did the whole thing of like, oh, like at first with the initial incident with like Tachibana like wrecking up the host club, they kind of did. There was no real opportunity for her to say, "I'm a girl," or well, there was, but she didn't say anything. But it's like, okay, that's sort of fine. And then she enters the team for like a little bit. There's like the one episode where she like does the fight and then she gets let go. She had plenty of opportunities in between her being not part of the team and then being part of the team again for her to reveal that she was a girl, but she chooses not to. It's not even that she chooses not to. She just doesn't.
Yeah, I think she just doesn't care at that point.
Yeah,
still.
and but even so, in her mind, every time she says, "But I'm a girl," like it clearly shows that it's not that she's trying to hide the fact that she's a girl. It's just happenstance. But that happenstance seems to carry on to ridiculous levels. And like, okay, once the status quo is kind of reestablished and she's part of the team and she knows that. If she knows that there are no girls allowed, okay, that's fine. You have to continue the whole like Mulan mascot. But like I said, there were clear points in that one episode where she wasn't part of the team that she could have done it, but she didn't.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of an odd dichotomy with her character as well.
Yeah, I think she just had too much fun being a guy in a way and just having fun with the guys. I think she was just too scared to lose them because of it, especially for Matsuoka. I think especially for him. I
don't think Yukimura would have like a big issue with it. He'd be like, oh, you're a girl, cool. Like hanging out with a girl this entire time. This will be great for my S&M manga.
Yeah, I think the only thing that he might freak out a little bit if she told him first. Because I can imagine him being like, "Does Matsu know?" And he'll freak out, being like, "Well, because it wasn't like he didn't suggest the idea; he just went with it." So yeah, he's probably start like freaking out and being like, "Oh, well, what's he gonna think? I really want you to stay on the team because I don't give a shit if you're a girl or not." But
But it seems like all of that was sort of like wrapped up anyway. Like, I don't think when she eventually goes, "Oh, I'm a girl," I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as it was before we got all of that backstory. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it like if they write it properly, well, not properly. If they like write it cleverly, they could kind of have a really interesting conflict where if they do decide to bring this girl back into it, like at some point, and then have the whole thing of Tachibana revealing that she's a girl around the same time, that could give Matsun some real conflict in that, like, oh well, there are no girls allowed. She's this other girl's around and like reminding me of what happened, and like, oh no, what do I do? Because like you say, otherwise I don't see it really being an issue because that conflict has kind of been resolved. Like they're still like, oh, we want to kick Midori's ass, but I don't think that's really an issue anymore. He's just kind of saying no girls allowed because.
My gut feeling is that the last thing that's going to happen, like one of the last chapters of the manga, is going to be her finally saying that she's a girl, and we're going to have to wait that long for it to happen.
Yeah. I guess it's just one of those.
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure it already happened. So
I think once she reveals that she's a girl, the romance aspect is going to get jacked up to the nth degree, because suddenly it's like, oh yeah, we have roots now. It's
gonna be tons of drama and and fluff and all that.
It's not going to be awkward anymore. There were like little moments of, oh, we do a blushy, but you can't really explore that at all. So after that, I think there's going to be like a shift in tone after that. Definitely. But yeah, it just seemed a bit like, I know that they just decided, oh, we're just going to have her not say that she's a girl just for the sake of the plot. But it did strike me as a bit odd because, like, in her mind, she seems proud of the fact that she's a woman, which again is really cool.
Yeah.
Because like she clearly has no issues with her gender identity. It's just she just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
She almost wants to be like, she wants to beat Midori and then be able to kind of like stand over and be like, I beat you and I'm a woman. So it just struck me as a bit odd. And again, they needed to do it for reasons of plot, but I think they could have possibly done it in a better way.
Yeah. I agree.
Like maybe even if they introduced the idea that she's not entirely like okay, like not entirely certain about her gender, but I think that would bring in a whole load of other issues that probably wouldn't be welcome in an anime / manga of this genre. I think it would be a bit too complicated. Because it would be, but it would be very compelling and probably quite good. So, yeah, it could have been dealt with better, I think. There were opportunities that they missed where it was a bit strange for her to not say that she was a girl.
Yeah, for sure.
In just a couple of weird gaps.
Yeah.
For the rest of it, it's fine, because it made sense. Yeah. I'm dancing around the bush and I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again.
Should we do a wrap up then? If we're going around in
I want to keep talking around in circles because I don't want to stop talking about Tachibana because she's great.
Is she one of your best girls now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say that about like an almost reverse harem protagonist.
Oh, that's awesome. Because she was one of my. Yeah, she was one of my best girls of last year. Definitely, I fell in love with her.
She's good.
Just from the opening scene, like I say, that moment where she's beating up all these guys, and then it's like, by the way, I'm a woman. I was like, oh, you're the best. And then just the moments where, because there are a couple of things we haven't talked about, like the moments where she goes into like bloodlust mode.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's true.
I find this strangely attractive, and I probably shouldn't. That side, it was still very cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
She went crazy.
And but yeah, I mean, we can start wrapping up now. We've been going for over an hour, and I think we've had some good discussions. So let's do.
All right, I guess I'll start then. I've said all I wanted to say about this, so it's just going to be a brief recap. I really like Aoharu X Kikanju. I think it's very, very good. I see why people don't like it. I wish it was more conclusive, and I wish it had a second season. Anytime that I felt like I would have been getting bored with this series, were it any other series, the characters completely saved it for me because I absolutely adore Yukimura. Like, look, I bought a wall scroll of him because I like him that much, and he's not even Haru from Free, so that's more of how much I like him. But like I said, it does fall short in a lot of aspects of being conclusive and being a satisfying ending. So I would give it a 7 out of 10. Gam.
So I surprisingly, apparently surprising to you guys, I really enjoyed this show. I think the premise was good, the presentation was good, the pacing was great, and like I said, I never got bored. But I do have a lot of issues with kind of the way the characters are portrayed, and there were genuine moments where, like, particularly after Yukimura explains that he's been lying this entire time, and he basically over-embellished the story of what happened in the past to try and make it so Matsun didn't seem like a bit of a coward, because he idolizes him, which again is a really interesting look into not only Matsun but also Yukimura as a character. Like, he wanted to protect his friend, which was great, and another reason why he's best boy. But well, only best boy until what's his name gets more development.
What?
Monster Man, big man.
Fujimon.
Fujimon. I love him, but he needs more screen time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, well, I've lost my chain of thought now because I'm thinking about him. Yeah, there was like a genuine, like, after that, when that was sinking in, there were points where I was literally saying at my screen out loud, but that doesn't make any sense because of how certain revelations and the way things play out kind of unravel things that have happened in the past. It's almost like as the story continues, it forgets what's past and how things happening now affects the perception of things that have already happened as far as we're concerned as viewers. Yeah. So I have a lot of issues with the way the story played out and the characters. And again, like Ebby said, like we said right at the start, without a second season to deal with like the initial conflict of Tachibana being a woman, and other stuff like that, and just the simple fact that we need to see the conclusion of, Toy Gun Gun versus Hoshishido. The ending left me wanting more, but not in a good way. There's a show ends on a really high note, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to see more of that because that was awesome. It wasn't the case of that. It was a case of, well, I need to see more of this because otherwise I've wasted my time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a bit harsh. I don't mean that. What I mean is just like...
Did you say that the manga was coming out in English, Thalia, or did I make that up? Because I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Me too.
Let me read it. Because I don't know if I'm prepared to buy it, but I definitely want to read it.
Okay.
But yeah, overall,
sure.
Overall, really enjoyed it, but it has a lot of flaws. So I'm going to give it a 6. However, I'm going to caveat that like I do anything else where we see it needs a second season. If there is a second season and it turns out to be just as good as this, like if it's more of the same and it resolves some of the issues with this first season, that could easily shoot up to an 8.
Wow.
Yeah, because I did get a lot out of this. And I think the very fact that I was, we've got so much good discussion out of it as well. And there are a lot of things that it kind of brought up to us as people talking about a series. Yeah. I think this is about as deep as we've got with anything.
Probably, and I didn't expect it from this show.
From Aoharu X Kikanju, of all things. So yeah, it gets a solid 6. I'm not willing to score it any lower than that because it is very enjoyable. But I can't score it any higher because of the issues that I have.
Okay.
So please don't hate me. Thalia.
I agree with everything you guys said, basically. I just want a second season. But I do have a feeling that I like the characters and just how it is a lot more than you guys, because I want to give it an 8 out of 10. Because I enjoyed it that much. Because it was I think it was in my top 5 or top 3 of last year.
Oh, wow.
Because I just connected to Toru so much that I was just like addicted to seeing him.
I think at least 2 of my points are dedicated just to him.
Yeah, and I don't know. And whenever it was like Matsun being on, I was like, no, I don't want to see him. I want to see Yukimura. I want to know more about him. And because of that, I'm also really excited to actually read the manga, because I did do too much research and I did spoil myself because I care too much about what is going to happen. But
yeah.
I just really want to know what's going to happen, and I care way too much for the characters, especially for Tachibana and for Yukimura. So I just want to know what happens, and I just really got into the story, although it does have a lot of flaws. But I can live with that for this one, because for me the characters make everything better. So, and also the whole toy gun thing, because I think that's just a really cool thing to do.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like I was surprised they didn't go with like paintballing. I think that would have, like because if I thought about that, because I've never really thought of like BB guns and survival games as being an established sport. I guess it probably is, but I always associate that with paintballing.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one to go with. I guess it's more dramatic because when you've got like BB guns, they're more like replica actual weapons rather than you have kind of it's very baseline with paintballing. So
the Bex in chat is on fire today because she said, "I just want Yukimura the anime, just animated Let's Plays of him playing Eroge."
I'd watch
Oh
that.
man,
I want that.
I would
bad.
love that. Just like Hamda getting an anime from Barakamon, Yukimura should get one.
Do it with Yukimura as well. But that does give us a 21 out of 30 for our final score.
Which is done well.
So, does anyone want to add anything before I wrap this up? And
closing thoughts are just definitely worth a watch. I recommend this show to everyone. And if there is a second season, I will definitely watch it.
Yeah, it's the same for me.
Yeah.
I recommend it to everyone, and especially for the comedy, because the comedy was some of the stuff that I really, really liked from this. But don't expect too much, and don't expect a full ending. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
That's a very good point.
You will be disappointed if you get too invested in the story.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up too much.
The kind of singular interactions and like events that happen throughout the series are like really well written and quite funny, and quite dramatic at times. It's just the overall execution could have been better.
So I am going to let you guys know what is going on. So, first and foremost, we will put links down in the description to Thalia's channel if you have not been there already.
Check out her videos.
Go and see her.
They're great.
And,
thank you.
And we'll get to see each other in like less than a week. So I can't wait.
KitterCon. I'm determined to make videos at KitterCon.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, we should.
We should do some stuff. It'll be fun.
Would be cool.
We'll make some plans. It does say on the screen for some reason that our next episode is on April 30th, and that's not true. Our next episode is on April 16th at 4 p.m. EST, 9 p.m. GMT, which is going to be Seraph of the End with Andy, who is one of my co-hosts, or one of the people who has me on the Spawn Point podcast. He's a very, very good friend of ours, so make him feel welcome. He's in the chat there. Look, there he is.
Yeah, he was on. He was in the Terraformars. He was in the Terraformars episode, and he was also in the Patama Inverted episode at Amichibi as well.
Yes, he was. So he's not new, but welcome him when he comes. And you should probably not pay attention to the date on the screen.
Once it's gone live, I'll stick an annotation on there.
Thank you. But other than that, I think that's everything. So, ta-ra, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye. Love you.
Bye bye.
Bye.